Steve.
Hey YouTube, Cinny Steve back with another video. And today's the turn of Virgin Games as well as Electronic Arts. Two companies that have got nothing to do with each other, but sort of got the same, around about the same sort of amount of games for each. So right, crack on. First up, again, my beloved Sensible Software. This is Sensible Golf, a game that needs a bit of a clean. It's quite dusty, that one. I didn't like it. I don't mind a golf game, but this was just a little bit boring. Don't know what happened there. Next up, in a similar size box, Disney's The Lion King. Didn't really put too much time into that one. Played it quite a bit on the Super Nintendo, but yeah, not the Amiga for some reason. And same with this one as well, Aladdin. Played quite a bit of this on the Mega Drive back in the day, but not really on the Amiga, but I heard it's pretty good. Then next up, an absolute Amiga classic running in the background, CANNO FODDER. Awesome game, really decent game. And also got the CD32 version. I don't really have many CD32 big box games, that's why I'm sort of including them with all these. I mean, to be honest, I probably could have done a separate video of sort of my CD32 collection, but I've started now. And then the sequel, which a lot of people say it's not as good, and it's not, but it's still a great game. I think a lot of people sort of overlook that because it doesn't compare to the amazing first one. People sort of forget that it's still an amazing game. Two games I don't know too well. I know a little bit about them, but I've never really played them, and it's June. And it's a bit like sort of a predecessor to Command and Conquer. But once you sort of miss these back in the day, it's really hard to go back. Can't hear this music without thinking of Mr. Bad's competition video. In this game, Mortal Kombat, which I think the Amiga done a great job with this, considering you only get one button. Don't get me wrong, I loved the Mega Drive version, awesome game, but I remember getting this from Lakeside, and I must have only been about 12, something like that. My parents was always sort of a bit of a stickler for sort of, oh, it's a 15, like I shouldn't be playing it, and luckily they didn't see the sticker, so I was quite happy with that. I remember like all the way home from Lakeside, I was just like, couldn't wait to get home to play it. And I didn't put too much time in with Mortal Kombat 2 because I was already on the Mega Drive by then. But again, if it's anything like the first one, I think the Amiga done a pretty good job of it. Next up, a game that I've never really played the full game too often, but I had a demo of this and I really liked it. You had like a skateboard level where you're going down the Great Wall of China. Didn't really mind it. This has got a good reputation of being a decent game. I don't know too much about it because it's a point and click. You over to Temptress. I should really, maybe I should sort of force myself to play some of these point and clicks. Obviously when I was younger, wasn't really interested in them, but now I'm a little bit older, I can maybe get the most of them and appreciate them a little bit more. This one, T2, never played this. I had a big bundle of sort of box onlys not too long ago, and this was one of them. It's got a massive cash converter sticker on there I've got to get off. But it's in really nice condition. I already had discs for it, so it's just sort of stayed in the collection. Because I'm not looking to get sort of a full Virgin collection, but I've ended up with quite a few games. This being the Incredible Crash Test Dummies. I've heard this is quite a good game actually. Never played it. Give that one a go. An absolute classic here now. Jimmy White's Whirlwind Snooker. And this is the limited edition that comes with the chalk. It's pretty cool. Spent so much time with this as a kid. I always remember on Games Master, Archer McLean going on there with it, and he absolutely annihilates somebody who's playing it with him. This is the sort of standalone version. But yeah, awesome game. Then next up, Archer McLean's Pole, which is obviously exactly the same graphics, but Pole. And I remember picking this up from, I mean, it's not an expensive game at all, but I remember picking it up from Play Nation for 99p. I couldn't walk past it for that. Next up, Alien 3, which I played a little bit. It's not too bad. Never really been engrossed in it, but yeah, I think it's a pretty good game. Alright, that's it for the sort of big boxes. Then we've got a few other sort of clamshell boxes. Amiga Classic Silkworm. I do actually quite like these clamshells. Next up, Gemini Wing, which isn't a great port of the arcade game, but I've got an absolute bargain with this. It's not a game you see that often. I remember getting this from what's it called? I'm a nightmare for remembering names of shops. Retro Hunter. Sorry about that. Yeah, I got it from here. Done me a great deal with it, and this was in the bundle with it as well. Rolling Molly. Great little game, this. Quite sought after. Hard to get for a decent price. And another Amiga Classic Super Off-Road. Awesome game, this. Love the arcade game. Quality game. Spent a lot of time with that as a kid. Always remember the crack troll on that. If you haven't seen it, I think it scarred me a little bit for life. Check it out. Look, just put in like Super Off-Road crack troll. And then onto the compilations. A couple of compilations on the Virgin label. I think the only Virgin game on this is Double Dragon 2, I believe. I don't know about Ninja Warriors actually, because I don't think I own that. And the reason I do own Double Dragon on its own, but I thought I didn't really want to put it in here. I've just left it with the other Double Dragon games, because it was the only game out of the 3 that was released on the Virgin label. And then this talked about Double Dragon. So you've got Double Dragon, Xenon, Silkworm and Gemini Wing. It's not a bad little compilation, to be honest. So that's it for the Virgin games. Let's have a clear up and I'll get onto the EA games. Right, next up we've got the EA games. Starting with John Madden, American football. Never been my sort of thing, never been into American football. Heard it's a good game if you are though. It's a game I played a lot of back in the day, PGA Tour Golf. I know the European Tour got an Ocean release. Really common game, I don't really know why I don't own it. Yeah, fantastic game, this one. Desert Strike, again played it a lot more on the Mega Drive, but it's a really solid game on the Amiga. If it wasn't for the pad, I'd say it's an actual better game, sounds better. Road Rash, love this on the Mega Drive, but I remember playing a demo of this on the Amiga a lot. Fantastic game, always loved a bit of Road Rash. It's the only Road Rash that got an Amiga release. Then absolute Amiga classic. I think this game has been mentioned probably more than any other game in that top 25 Amiga list I did. Sort of everyone saying where's Syndicate, and I did play it as a kid. I remember my uncle really liked it. I just don't like the way it sort of scrolls now. I'm not sure. Don't get me wrong, it still is a great game. I just don't think it's aged amazingly. And this one's got a slipcover. I know this one came free in a pack, so I don't know if all the standalones got the slipcover. But yeah, it is a really cool game. Like, iconic artwork as well. And then this one not being a game, but it was released by Electronic Arts, and that's Deluxe Paint 4. Box weighs an absolute ton. That's the AGA version, never used it in my life. And then CD32 version of themePARK. Again, I'm surprised I don't own this on just a normal 500 version. I think it got an AGA release as well. But yeah, really, absolute classic game. Then we've got the game that's behind me, which I never got into ever, but my brother was a massive fan of it. It's F-18 Interceptor. There's quite a few games I wouldn't mind getting that came in this case actually. Marble Madness being one of them. Yeah, actually, I don't think that this is the right case for it. I'm sure the right case, you had like it was hinged down there. So in fact, I know it's not, because I'm sure it had engraved electronic arts in the case as well. So I'll have to look. I've owned like a million copies of that. I can't believe I've ended up with the one not in an original case. Next up, we've got Populous, another sort of god sim which never got involved in. Very highly rated though, as was the sequel, Populous 2. As I say, even though they're not my sort of games, if it's an iconic game, I do want to own it for the Amiga. This was quite a cool game, Projectile. It's a little bit like sort of air hockey, if you like, over quite a few different screens. Yeah, quite a cool playable game, to be honest. This is a fairly recent pickup. I've owned it a couple of times in varying conditions, because I do like these boxes, but for some reason they do suffer, even though they're quite rigid. But I really like these boxes. And this is Flood. Again, quite a sought after game for the Amiga. We've got Ski or Die, which wasn't too bad actually. I gave this a little go when I got it in a bundle. Pretty cool game, one you don't see too often. Classic Amiga game, Powermonger. Again, a lot of people love this game as well. And then we've got Budokan, which I tried playing this. I thought it didn't play that well really, but no, let's know what you think. And then last one I know absolutely nothing about, and that's the Immortal. And that's it guys, that's the EA and Virgin games out of the way. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you up on the next one.